Hey, what's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? Excuse me. I know it's been a while. It's been some ups and downs, working crazy, all kinds of other things going on, and being up under the weather and whatnot. But I really appreciate the opportunity to come in and say hey. Big shout out again to Black Silhouette Music for the intro. That we have there. Definitely appreciate that. The work that that brother does. Definitely loves his music, and we appreciate him for it. So, tonight's going to be a little different. Unfortunately, Steve's not going to be able to be on. Dax isn't going to be able to be on. They got the whole snowstorm, situation like Dax does down in Texas. And so he actually was in traffic just a few minutes ago with everything that's going on. So with that being said, though, want to come out and just say thank you guys for all the support, kind of give a little update. Not going to be on very long at all tonight. Just wanted to make sure that I hopped on here and said what's up and said hello to everybody. But we had a situation where essentially we lost the entire the original Reflections Facebook page. So everybody that was following all the, we still have a lot of the videos archived and stuff like that. I was able to hold on to those. From various shows or whatever. But unfortunately, lost a lot. We have to start over. So really want to ask for everybody's help as far as inviting people to like the page, follow the page again. Excuse me. You can follow the Reflections Facebook page, the Twitch stream, the YouTube page, all under Reflections, Twitter, and really help us push and promote that. We grew because of you guys, grew because of the support and all the love that you were showing us. So a couple things. Obviously, house call is on a Wednesday night as opposed to a Thursday. Going to do the first and third Wednesday of each month. First and third Wednesday of each month. So the next Wednesday we'd be looking at for the next house call show is going to be the 16th of February. So first and third Wednesday of each month at 7:30, we'll be doing house call. So there's that schedule change there. And then we have Reflections going to go to, you know, slide Reflections over to Thursday evening and go from there as well. So just a couple schedule changes, little tweaks. Definitely want to send an invite out to people that want to get involved and get join us on the stream. Join us on the stream, whether it's on more of a permanent basis or just kind of here and there, whichever works, whatever's best. Definitely hit us up and let us know what's there. But we are in the month of February, Black History Month. I want to stress that Black history is all year long. It's American history. It is what it is, and I want to stress that. And so I want to encourage you, and I want to challenge you to educate yourself. Learn something new, whether it's every day or every couple days. Learn something new about the history and the individuals that have helped make America, what it is, good, bad, and indifferent. Individuals that have helped us with scientific breakthroughs, individuals that have, entertained us, whether it be on the big screen, the small screen, whether it be with music, contributions that have made there. Like a lot of people love rock and roll and metal and whatnot, but I mean, jazz is a foundation of all that, type of thing. And those individuals that helped, really contribute to that and really push to that. So I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you to really educate yourself, really learn something new, go out there and try to break down that wall, that whitewashing that we tend to see happen so often. And it's so unfortunate, and speaking of that, we have situation like, in Texas, you have all these people, trying to ban these books, right? Because, and oh my God, don't teach critical race theory and this other kind of foolishness. And it's really upsetting to me because I don't quite understand what the fear is. Like we say that, especially, one group of people, we say, one group in this country or one school of thought in this country is that, young people can make decisions when it comes to firearms, right? 10, 11, 12 years old, that type of thing, 14, 15, 16, but we can't trust them with books. It's a little confusing to me. It's really sickening to me, honestly, where we live in a country that is so ultimately afraid of truth really being discussed, and the injustices, and regardless of how painful the history is, it's history. It's our history. We have to acknowledge it, and you can't ever grow from it. You can't ever fix it if you don't acknowledge these things. And so I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you to do that, because I honestly think that's foolish. Oh, let's ban this book, let's ban that book, because they don't like it. Now, a lot of people will go back to, oh, well, Dr. Seuss. Well, no, 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 no. That was the organization responsible for ensuring Dr. Seuss's literary legacy, and how it was portrayed, that made the decision to pull certain books from publication. That's much different than what we have. But I want to encourage you. It's Black History Month. Shop black. Black owned businesses in your neighborhoods. Show them that support. It's one of those things where I'm excited for this month. I'm hoping that people take some time and educate themselves. There's been some amazing things, and progressive things that have happened, and individuals, and opportunities, and we have, like we have here in the city of Olean, we have our Alderman Vernon Robinson. Is the first elected African American to the city council here in Olean. That's a piece of history that will become a piece of history for this area, and it's really important to do that. But one of the things that I'm going to do throughout the month of February, and I try to do it all the time, but throughout the month of February, especially highlighting various Black businesses, right? And one that I just want to kind of share with you guys right now. We've had Eugene, we had him, Bougie Beards, had him on the show previously on Reflections, and so I want to encourage you to check them out. You got the what is this, the beard wash here. I don't know if you guys can see it with the glare, but it was really nice. It came packaged in a nice little bag. The bottles nice, labels professional, and I want to encourage you to go out there and show that support, to businesses like that. So definitely want to highlight them this evening. Really appreciate what he's doing, and the progress that his business is making, and the impact that he's making, and really going out there and just pushing through the industry, right? And then I'd be amiss if I didn't mention Living Beauty Florals down there in Jacksonville, Florida. You got Valentine's Day coming up. I know she's running some specials. I think the 5th is the last day to pre-order for Valentine's Day, especially to get any kind of special that she's running. So check that out. Check them out, Living Beauty Florals, Chanel Lee down in Jacksonville. You can check her out on Facebook and Instagram. So definitely want to show the support there. But again, I want to challenge you. Ask yourself, I remember, and I was talking about this the other day with some people, the conversation of, like, when was it that you had your first African-American instructor? You had your first Black instructor, right, in school. And, some people are like, oh, well, I was in 6th grade. I was in 11th grade. I was in 3rd grade. Well, myself personally, it wasn't until college. And that says something about the area that I'm in, right? And so there are ways to educate, to drive diversity. I had the privilege of sitting on the City of Olean's Equity and Inclusion Committee, the Diversity Committee, if you would, here in the City of Olean for the last year, little over a year or so, and so that was one of the big topics that we talked about, right? Is like, how do you drive diversity in a community? How do you acknowledge and engage, so you can kind of bridge the gap and begin to have dialogue and create an understanding, that type of thing. Unfortunately, there were various aspects within the Equity and Inclusion Committee that unfortunately were detrimental We have a mayor here in the city of Olean that when you start talking about, disenfranchised people groups and individuals that are experiencing bigotry and racism, in his mind, he automatically equated that with socioeconomic status. And so, because there were social programs established within the city, then there really wasn't any issue, wasn't any problem. And so when you have individuals like that and their thought process, then there's a wall that's put up, there's a barricade that's put up, and it really is an obstacle to any real type of growth or change. It's truly unfortunate, honestly. And one of these things that I wish was a little different is that our city, the leadership here in the city that I live in, and I know we're not the only city that experiences stuff like this, but especially this area, speaking to where I'm at, the mindset and the thought process of several individuals, unfortunately, is detrimental to growth. But unless we in the community get educated, unless we in the community really acknowledge and push forward, and really strive and continue to be a voice and continue to make noise and continue to address issues and continue to refuse to be placated and refuse to be just kind of pushed aside, and really force people to acknowledge, you've got to talk about the elephant in the room, man. You can't heal from something if you don't acknowledge you've got an injury in the first place. You'll just continue to make it worse. And unfortunately, in our society, we are so divided in so many different ways right now, and so many people are struggling and frustrated, and there's this mental health issues that have become so much worse due to the pandemic, and the political polarization that we're experiencing, all that type of thing. And it's truly unfortunate that there's that circumstance, that type of situation that's taken place. But you have to maintain the course. You have to continue to strive to be an agent of change, so to speak, right? You can't rely on one or two people. Like, the community as a whole has to step up and say, hey, enough is enough. Like, this is what's going on. So I wanted to take a minute tonight, and I wanted to share something, and I'm going to talk about it more over the course of the coming days, coming weeks. And it's something that I want to truly make known. So there were several of us on the Equity and Inclusion Committee that felt very similar, that we were trying to make progress. And unfortunately, the mayor, as well as the committee chair, they were an obstacle to that progress, oftentimes. I won't say always, but oftentimes they were an obstacle to that progress, more times than not, unfortunately. And even the refusal to acknowledge firsthand experiences was very, very frustrating. And so, we had gotten together and we decided that we were going to address it. And I'm going to share it more and in more detail over the course of the coming days and weeks. But essentially, provided an official statement, for a lack of better words, from us, from the few members of the Equity and Inclusion Committee, that we felt that way. And that was our, addressed it to the mayor, the common council, et cetera. And that was one way, an initial step, so to speak, to acknowledge, hey, there's an issue. Let's see what we can do to fix it. And oftentimes, many people, when you start talking about, like, you highlight Black history, right? People, oh, well, why's there got to be a Black History Month? Like, really? Are you kidding? Like, come on now, stop. Like that level of pushback on it just because, or Black Lives Matter, oh, all lives matter. Oh, okay. Well, you can't really say all lives matter if all lives don't matter equally. So, and that's a whole nother conversation. But we have individuals that just immediately want to stop any type of acknowledgement that there's even an issue. Oh, well, I don't think there's any racism in the city of Olean. Well, then clearly you're not paying attention. And at this point, individuals that are like, oh, well, I don't see it. I don't, no, 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 you're choosing not to see it at this point. Like at this point, at this day and age, to act as if you're blind to the different things that happen, whether it's, and unfortunately, oftentimes individual people of color, they have to kind of pick what type of racism they want to deal with. Is it redlining racism? Is it straight belligerent racist racism? Is it inequality on the job type of racism? Is it like, these are the types of things that these individuals have to deal with and have to struggle with, and to not even acknowledge firsthand accounts of and examples of different situations that take place is very disturbing. When you can't even listen to somebody's firsthand account, you're going to tell them that that's not what happened, or, because you don't want to acknowledge it. Well, you can't heal from an injury, like I had said before, or treat an illness if you don't first acknowledge the illness is there. And so you have to acknowledge these different things in order to make any type of progress, to be able to step forward, to be able to push forward, to take those steps, to make any type of change. And so that was one of the first things that we did together. We came together and officially provided a statement. Hey, this is where we stand. This is how we feel based on the circumstance and the situation. I mean, you have an HR, the part-time HR personnel that the city has hired, when he was asked to give an example about when he had to deal with a situation involving discrimination, he immediately told a story about a Black gentleman addicted to drugs. That was his go-to. And honestly, if you listen to the story didn't have anything to do with discrimination at all. He just immediately equated a Black man on drugs and figured that fit the bill. Now, individuals that are in positions like that that have the effect that they can have, that's a dangerous thing, honestly. Let's just be very honest about it. And so you can't just sit back and allow that to go unchecked. You have to be able to establish and be able to address and push forward. And it's not comfortable. It's not easy. I remember when George Floyd was murdered and the protests had first started around the country and here locally in Olean. I remember having a conversation with several people. And one of the things that I said is that individuals have to understand that this attack that we're trying to push forward, right? We're trying to attack this systematic racism and tear it down. This thing didn't just start when George Floyd was murdered. It's been something that has been fought by individuals for years and years and years. It's not a quick trip to the corner store. It's not a couple selfies on Instagram. It's not a couple Facebook statuses to make yourself feel good or because it was what was hot at the time. This thing is a cross-country road trip. And yeah, we might stop and use the bathroom and grab some stacks real quick, but we getting back in the car and driving, and no, we're not pulling over for any length of time. We just going to switch out the driver when we need to get a little bit of rest. And so I want to encourage you over the course of the next month. I want to encourage you to, number one, like I said before, educate yourself. Right? Educate yourself about Black history. It doesn't have to be anything crazy or so complicated or rocket science or anything like that, but educate yourself. Learn something different in reference to Black history over the course of the month of February. That's the first thing. The second thing is I want to encourage you to shop at these Black-owned businesses. Go ahead. There was a story a couple weeks ago. There was an individual. She wanted a refund for her order because she found out the owner of the business was Black. She didn't want to shop with a Black individual. She didn't want to purchase anything from a Black-owned business. I want to encourage you to do the exact opposite. Purchase from a Black-owned business. There's several of them out there that do several different things. Like ones we're going to highlight, on House Call and on Reflections. You have Bougie Beards, like I just was showing, the beard oil and shampoo and conditioner. The beard products. You have Serenity hand sanitizer. You have Living Beauty Florals, the Tea Cafe, to name a few. Vibe, Voices in Black Empowerment, right? A nonprofit that's here in the area that their goal is to make a difference in these communities. And then you have Strength and Sisterhood, another nonprofit, looking out for young women and a mentorship program there. You have various authors, right? You just, there's so much authors, musicians, Black Silhouette Music, for example, or these other streamers, content creators, all these various businesses that you can show some type of support to, right? And support doesn't necessarily have to be monetary if you're not able to afford it or whatever the case may be, but follow their page, share their post, invite people to like and follow their page or their content or whatever the case may be. We have to break down this wall, right? We've got to break it down. We have to acknowledge it. And that's the third thing I want to encourage you to do this month is don't be afraid to acknowledge these different things that need to change. Don't be afraid to acknowledge it because you're not accustomed to it, because nobody around you agrees with you. Like, don't be afraid about that. Stand up, at the very least, acknowledge, start a dialogue. The other thing I want to stress is over the course of Black History Month, right? There's going to be a lot of various like movies or TV shows and that kind of thing that come on that highlight various Black actors and actresses and directors and etc. But there are I don't want to say most, but a lot of times what's put on networks, on cable networks in reference to these shows are generally like individuals that are, or movies or shows that are about Black trauma, right? Well, there's several other great and fantastic avenues of entertainment with movies and TV shows that don't highlight any type of trauma or traumatic experience or triggering content that you can enjoy and appreciate the skill of these various actors and actresses. So I want to kind of stress that as well. So there's a lot. I want to encourage you to make this year different. Make this Black History Month different, right? Show some support. Give somebody a shout out. Like I said, we want to highlight the various businesses on not just the show, but the pages, Twitter, Facebook. So send them to us. If you have a Black-owned business, content creator, nonprofit, author, musician, whatever it is, then shoot us over their information so we can share their information, share their page, share their business, share their product, share their content, and give them an opportunity to reach a new audience. We have to be willing to have dialogue. We have to be willing to try something new, right? To be open to a new experience. And so I really want to encourage you for this month of February. Listen, like I said at the very beginning, Black history is not just the month of February, okay? And it didn't just start with slavery. That's the other thing. It didn't just start with slavery. Educate yourself. I can't stress that enough. Educate yourself. I don't really want to keep anybody too long. Just wanted to hop on. I wanted to just kind of share my heart a little bit. I appreciate y'all's patience. I apologize that we lost all that content, and those of you that were following the Facebook page, but we do have a new Facebook page that's up. So please follow that, share it, invite people to like and follow the page, help us grow. We couldn't do it without you. We didn't do it without you before. We're not going to do it without you this time. Really appreciate y'all. And I just, I can't stress enough. Be open to an experience that is different. Be open to educate yourself outside of what people just put in front of you, because we have huge opportunities. Again, shout out to Bougie Beers, Living Beauty Floral, Vibe, here in Olean, Strength and Sisterhood, Serenity Hand Sanitizer, Black Silhouette Music. Like, these are just a few of the businesses and musicians and authors and content creators that we're going to highlight over the course of the next month at a minimum. But really appreciate you guys. Thank you all very much for your time. Again, House Call is going to be the first and third Wednesday of every month at 7:30, first and third Wednesday. So next time we'll catch House Call will be on the 16th. And then Reflections is going to go to Thursday nights. And so, and then, you know, we're going to have pop-up shops too. There's going to be various times I'll pop up and talk about whatever. I want you guys to keep in store that statement, that letter that I was talking about, that some of us that were on the diversion, equity and inclusion committee, that I was talking about, that we wrote. I'm going to share that with y'all here in the coming days. So I want you to look out for that, pay attention to that. But again, can't thank you guys enough. Appreciate it. You know, everybody that's going to be affected by the storm, you know, definitely in our thoughts and our prayers, you know, Steve and Dax, you know, themselves today as well. But really appreciate you guys. Thank y'all very much. Y'all be safe. You know, I know a lot of y'all are getting ready to deal with the upcoming storm, so we're going to let y'all go deal with that. Again, thoughts and prayers definitely go out to all of y'all. Thank y'all for all your love and your support, and we'll catch you next time on House Call.